right, welcome back to the show. Just first want to start with the show of thanking everybody for listening, watching, subscribing. Appreciate all the support, all the feedback. We're coming up on close to a year now of doing this, and podcasting is definitely a different world. Right now for this episode, I'm just talking to a camera, so it's a little bit different. I don't get instant feedback. If I say something or mess up on something, like I think about it later maybe, but there's no instant feedback here. So it is a different world, but I'm enjoying it. The guests, appreciate everyone coming on. With that said, if anyone wants to come on or has a topic that you'd like to hear about, feel free to reach out. You can find me, obviously, most of you know, Facebook, Instagram. Also, my website is l4investing.com. You can reach out to me there. And other than that, if you like the podcast, please share it, subscribe, like it. It's also on YouTube too. So other than that, let's get into the show. So today I want to talk about, this is spurred by a few conversations I've had the past couple of days. And it's something that's not talked about very often. But it's really, other than finding great deals, it is the most important thing after that, in my opinion. And that is operations. So, you don't see these gurus, social media people, influencers. You don't see people really talking much about, hey, pay for my course and you're going to learn how to operate a storage facility or a multifamily apartment building or whatever it is, retail center. They're talking about finding great deals, right? And after that, now there are courses, don't get me wrong, there are courses that dive into operations, but it's not really talked about. It's not sexy. But after you take down the deal, guess what? You're not really a real estate investor at that point. You are to a certain extent, but now you're a business owner, especially in my world as a self-storage owner. It is now a business. It's very less about real estate now that I've taken a deal down. It's now business. And for the lifespan of me holding that property, I'm going to have to, there's more time and effort put into operations than it was finding the deal. It's definitely, for me, it's more fun finding the deals, talking to the owners, the brokers, whatever, digging into the deals and taking them down. To me, that is more fun. I do enjoy the operations, but the killing of the deal, the taking down of the deal, that's what excites me. I really enjoy that. And it's probably for majority of people. And I do think there are, especially right now when the economy has changed, it's changing. Things aren't what they, especially really in all asset classes, they are not what they were a couple of years ago. So you have to become a strong operator. And if you're not, you better be at least hiring those out and managing the people or the contractors or the vendors, whoever that are operating your asset classes. So want to kind of dive into it a little bit. But yeah, that's the gist of it is operations. Most people do not talk about operations. And to me, it is the most important thing other than finding a great deal. After that, it is the most important thing. Because you could be, we'll use an example. Let's say you buy a Subway restaurant, right? You take down a deal, you buy it, and then you're like, great, I've done my job. I'm out. I check out. Who's going to run the thing? Even if you've got people in place, who's managing those people, right? And if you're not, at some point, something's going to go wrong. And if you're not watching things, if you're not steering that ship, something will go wrong and you could end up losing that restaurant. Same goes with real estate investing. You cannot just take down the deal and then think, okay, I'm set. Let's go find the next deal. And this asset that I just bought will run itself. That's not how this works. And I see a lot of people, and I see them right now that maybe got into a little bit of a tighter deal that don't have as much leeway, and they're struggling right now because they didn't put any time or effort into operations. They thought they could just coast and real estate investing is a passive thing. All you got to do is find deals. It's not the case. You can definitely hire things out, delegate things, but you have to manage those things, whatever they are. So for myself, I have right now, it's soon to be a team of 3. So we are smaller. However, they're awesome at what they do. And it also makes me flexible. But anyways, I manage those 3, right? And then then we have a call center, which also acts as and we've talked about this on the show, a hybrid management company in a way. Myself and my team of 3 also manage them. So there are quite a few steps of managing, but I've got to be the one that sets the tone, that's managing and overlooking everything. That doesn't mean I'm in everything all day, every day. I do spot checks for the most part. We've got some KPIs that we track. And we're continually to improve too, right? What I'm doing now and how I'm operating now is way different from when I started, basically 5 years ago in storage. Looks completely different. I would say probably every 6 to 12 months, I'm evolving somewhat, drastically, not drastically, but in a way drastically. I've changed quite a bit, or I change quite a bit every 6 to 12 months. And that's just, you've got to evolve. If you're not evolving, if you're not improving your operations, you're at some point you're going to fail. And I'll talk a little bit about operations here that's related to what I do, and that we talked about. It's managing people, marketing. So for self-storage, and I guess really any other business that uses pay-per-click, right? You almost have to become an expert in that in a way. Or even if you hire it out, you still have to know where your money's going. And I see that a lot of times where people just hire a marketing company and they just trust them, and not to their fault. It's just, hey, I don't know anything about marketing. I'm going to hire this company. I should be able to trust them. But in my opinion, you kind of have to be a jack of all trades. And I kind of compare it to my first single family rental. I did everything for that rehab. I did everything. There's one thing, the heck was it? There may have been a couple GFI outlets that I couldn't figure out that I subbed out. Otherwise, I did everything. I did the flooring. I did drywall. I did lighting fixtures. I did cabinets, countertops. What the hell? What else did I do? Paint, doors, like you name it, I did it. It was not fun going through it, but now that I did it, I could go forward, and my next project, I could hire that out and then I could find who was good, right? Because I had gone through the process, so I knew what it took to lay down laminate flooring. So at that point, now I can hire the right person. I can manage them correctly too, because I knew for the most part, what it took to put that laminate flooring down. So in my opinion, it does help to know at least a little bit about each aspect in your operations. So again, that's people, marketing, managing contractors, which my last job, I did that. So that was one thing that I do see some real estate investors maybe struggle in ways, because it's a different world. And if you've never dealt with contractors and managed contractors, it's a learned skill that you've got to refine too. There's maintenance, and you've got to know what goes into the maintenance, right? It does help to get, let's say you need a new door. It does help to get 3, 4, or 5 quotes from different vendors. However, you've got to know what goes into it as well. Or else they're just gonna, they're gonna smell weakness and they're gonna go after you. Talked about delegating a little bit. Rent raises, right? This isn't something that I knew about when I took over my first few storage facilities, was how to do rent raises. That's something that's not talked about. So now I've got to become somewhat of an expert in that field to at least be able to delegate it or do it myself. And you've got to track your competitors. right? No matter what real estate investment or asset class or business, whatever you're in, you got to look at your competitors. And all these things you don't really learn when you get into real estate investing. For me, it was, okay, how can I find value add deals? And that goes back to over a decade ago. How can I find value add deals? So I was learning about. So operations that are kind of on the fly and kind of a forgotten thing, which, it is what it is. It's not sexy. Not many people will sign up for a course to learn how to do operations. But it is, my opinion, the most important aspect to real estate investing other than finding a deal. Other than that, that's really all I've got. Feel like I'm kind of rambling a little bit. It's as simple as it is on paper. Depending on your asset class, operations can absolutely be complicated. And it's also as complicated as you make it, right? And that's why, for myself, that's why I keep a small and lean team and use vendors. Because we can pivot, we can flex when we need to. It just makes things a little bit easier. It's my perspective. That's what I've done. But yeah, other than that, appreciate everybody listening. Appreciate everyone subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Please share. And again, reach out if you want on the show. If there's any topics you want to hear about, we'd love to hear from you. And again, appreciate everyone for listening. Thanks.
Thanks for following, subscribing, and listening to this episode of the Do More podcast hosted by John Farling. To learn more or ask questions, go to l4investing.com.